Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on the Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Good morning, sunshine. Listen, I do not know what is going on, but today it is dark outside. It is gray. It is gloomy. And my light that usually warms up the side of my face, you see all of the shadow? It's because my light just gave out right as I was getting ready to start. And I was trying to get it, to come back to life, but it just did not want to. So listen, there's an omen in the air. I had to look at the date. Like, are you sure it's not Friday the 13th? Sure enough, it isn't. Anyway, let's see what's going on, you guys. Hopefully you guys had a great evening and you feel full of energy to get into today's stories. We've got an awful lot to discuss, including shout out to you, Milen. It was so funny when I was setting everything up. I saw your comment about wanting to talk about Nicki Minaj's latest crash out. Yup, we're actually absolutely going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about Carlos King and all the things that he wants to see come out of the next season of The Real Housewives of Potomac, including a sit down between Monique and Gizelle. We're also going to talk about the Emmy nominations that came out. Shout out to Kendrick, Lamar, and Beyoncé for scoring some pretty big nominations. And we've got to get into Jenelle's TikTok video where she was kind of talking a little bit about Amber and her frequent TikTok lives and Catelynn and Tyler and the controversy that they found themselves embroiled in when they were messaging with some minors. Lupita Nyong'o is talking about fibroids and how she had to get a surgery to have about 30 fibroids removed. And she wants to raise more awareness and more money to help more people and to bring more light and research behind this condition, right? And last but not least, we do have a very sad story to get into. It's about the drowning death of influencer Emilie Kiser's son, Trig, and how police allegedly want to pursue charges against her husband in the drowning of the son. Okay, so all that and more in today's episode of The Morning Report. Per usual, if you find yourselves enjoying it, don't forget, please, to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoy my content. In the meanwhile, shout out to all of you guys for being here. Per usual, Milen, Michelle, Tadisha, Amy, Ali, K-Car, Jenny, Amy, Venetia, Ramster, Bree Meeks, Lil Miss Fluffy, Christy, Jazz, her stories here as well. Hey, Gwen. Hey, Alexa. Hey, Amy. Gwen, are you still in the bushes or are you, here with us in full force today? We've also got Mrs. H, Valerie. So nice to see y'all here. And per usual, shout out to those of you watching from the bushes as well. We love you guys. I say it to be funny, but truly, I love those of you who are watching and not interacting too, because I know the days can get busy. And thanks so much, Jess. That is so nice of you. Thanks so much for being here with us, boo. Okay, you guys, why don't we start off with the first story on our docket? Okay, so filming is currently underway for the next season of The Real Housewives of Potomac. Monique has been brought back to the show after a little bit of a hiatus. Things have changed in her life. She went from being married to former NFL superstar Chris Samuels to now being divorced and a single mom. And Gizelle, she's still pretty much in the same position that she was back in the day, but it feels as though there might be hope for them kind of not exactly being friends, but maybe burying the hatchet together as far as Carlos King is concerned anyway. So Carlos King is one of the most infamous producers to come out of the Real Housewives franchise. And he sat down for an interview with Pride magazine to talk about both what he thought about the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 and what he's hoping for RHOP. Now, in regards to the Real Housewives of Atlanta's latest season, Carlos King says that it did not disappoint. Quote, I enjoyed it overall. Obviously, I'm very sad to see Kenya Moore removed from the show, but I'm hopeful she'll be back. And when it comes to Housewives of Potomac, we already saw photos of Gizelle and Monique sitting down together and being in a room together and whatnot. And Carlos says that he's happy that Monique is back on the show. Quote, I can't wait to see what happens when her and Gizelle are together. I would love to see a sit-down conversation and see what happens after that. I think a lot of people are seeing the brilliance that is Gizelle Kobe Bryant. So I want to know what you guys think about that. What are you hoping to see come out of Gizelle and Monique coming face to face again after the way that Monique dragged her, read her for filth, obliterated her during Monique's final Real Housewives of Potomac reunion? In my opinion, if Gizelle were to play nice with Monique, it's probably because she knows it's for her own good, right? Like her life still is a very easy read. And, even with Monique being divorced, right? But on top of that, she saw how bad it was, and she probably just wants to stay out of Monique's crosshairs. I think that she underestimated Monique as a reader. And, we all know Gizelle cannot read to save her life. So I think that if she plays nice with Monique, it's more so to save her own behind. But we'll have to wait and see how all of that plays out. Hey, Shelby, Jenelle has been out of the spotlight for too long. She needs to take it back from Amber. Any attention is good attention for those crazies. And it's kind of interesting, right? Like she's been producing content like crazy, but like nothing's really been like sticking this time around. Hey, Deshauna, good morning, sunshine. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Monica, good morning. Good morning. Oh, you're here getting ready for work. Well, I hope you have a great day at work. And thanks so much for checking in. And good morning to you too, Latasha. So nice to see you. And Sedona is checking in from law school. Yes, girl. Nice to see you, Sedona. Thanks for popping in from law school. What? Like it's hard? And hey, Ronnie, nice to see you as well. Oh, yeah, she's still on vacation. Our dear Ronnie, she is in Kentucky, you guys, on vacation with her family. And I'm really, really glad that you're able to have a good time relaxing with your familia. Latasha says, I hope for an authentic conversation, but would that actually happen? That's the thing. Nothing is ever really all that authentic as far as the Real Housewives are concerned. Everything is always calculated. And this reminds me of a conversation that we had with Layla Lynn and Kempire on Kempire's channel when we were recapping part 1 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion, right? It was, oh, there's Portia hugging it out with Drew, but does she mean it? Is it real? No, because Portia's very calculating. She sees how bad that storyline made her look with Drew and that nobody was falling for it. And so she made up with Drew for the cameras. So if Gizelle were to make up with Monique, for me, it would mainly be because she doesn't want to be obliterated like that for the cameras. It's been years since that epic read, and we still quote it. It still goes viral every couple of months. And the last thing that Gizelle needs in her life is another moment like that. Tadisha says, this upcoming season of RHOP will be interesting with Monique back in the fold. I agree. And I'm going to be so fascinated to see how they handle Karen in prison, right? Or in jail, right? Because her jail sentence is not even that long. So will they prolong filming this season so that we'll be able to pick the cameras back up when Karen comes out of the slammer? Are we going to be waiting outside of the jailhouse for Karen as well? Is that going to be a special? Like, I've got so many questions specifically in regards to that. And I'm also really interested in seeing what Monique's new lifestyle looks like as a divorced woman. I think she got like a decent amount of money from that divorce, probably not as much as the average person would assume that she could get out of a divorce from an NFL star with a massive investment portfolio, but they seem to be doing well. And, I want to see this new side to her, right? Is she dating? What is she doing right now? And I'm really, really excited and looking forward to seeing what that looks like. Good morning, Nikki. Good morning, Ashley. So sorry you're not feeling well, Ashley. Get well soon, girl. Get well soon. And yes, thank you so much for the well wishes for Ashley Gwen, by the way. Oh my goodness. It's that season. It's that season. Do you have any chicken noodle soup at home, Ashley? Anytime anyone feels unwell, that's always my first thing. Get you some chicken noodle soup. Malen says, will the Fab Trio recap Potomac like the olden days? You know what? We are going to have to link up. We won't be able to do it every single week, but we are going to link up at a certain point. That is for sure. We love, love, love getting together. And, it's so crazy that it's been 5 years since we were doing that every single week, right? But, I still love Kempire and Layla so much. I talk to them all the time. Right. And so I can't wait. I can't wait for our next collaboration. It was really cool to be able to see them again and do it together again this past Monday. Now, you guys, why don't we get into the Diddy of it all, y'all? Diddy. Guards, bring him out. Okay. I've got a little bit of an update on Demon Diddy for you guys. So you know how like he was only convicted of like his two like lesser charges, and he tried to ask to be let out on bail, but the judge said no. He's still kind of like a flight risk, still a danger, and blah blah blah. Well, now Diddy realizes that, hey, even though I only got convicted of my lesser charges, that doesn't mean that I'm in the clear. They still carry a maximum prison sentence of up to 20 years. I think it's anywhere from 2 to 20 years, right? And so he is doing everything that he can behind bars to try and make sure that his sentencing will be as minimal as possible. So Diddy has enrolled himself in the STOP program, that program is supposed to help with violence against women, rug use, things like that, right? SA, etc. And according to reports, Diddy is also receiving therapy outside of this program, and his therapist is Dr. Harry K. Wexler. And apparently this is something that he's actually even started prior to his arrest, right? And like there's a lot of mixed feelings about this. There are some people who want to believe this stuff and to believe that it means that Diddy means business and that he's going to change as a person, blah, blah. But then there are people like me who think that all of this is just an act and it's only, something that he's doing in order to get out of facing very, very serious consequences along prison sentence for what it is that he did to Cassie and his other victims as well. I want to know what you guys think about it. So let me know in the live chat. Do you think that Diddy's intentions, mic check, 1 2 1 2. Do you think that Diddy's intentions are authentic with signing up for the STOP program? Or is he only doing this in order to kind of sugarcoat his sentence essentially and to charm the judge? And also another question, do you think that the judge is going to fall for it and give him like a really, really, really low sentence? I sure hope not. Kate's watching from the bushes at work. Listen, Kate, I can't hate. Those bills have to be paid, don't they? Good on you for getting out there and working. So, and thanks so much as well for popping in on us while you're at work. And good morning, Acacia. Nice to see you. And thanks so much, Latasha. Us too. Honestly, we have the best time together. We really, really do. And, I think it's like, I hope it's obvious that we are in such good touch with each other, like all the time, right? Like, I'm sorry, like ask KP. I am talking his ears off half the time with these crazy like stories in like the WhatsApp, like voice notes and stuff. And with Layla, I'm the same way, but on Instagram. And, Layla launched this like podcast and whatnot. And I had seen it on my Spotify and I was listening to it and it was just so relatable and cool. So, I was sending her this message. Like, I really love everything that the two of them put out and whatnot. And so it's so nice when that, it shows and it shines through in the way that we talk to each other and whatnot. I'm so, so happy that I was able to find them and to have such good, friends like them here in these YouTube streets, y'all, because the YouTube streets are cold. I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be honest. Before I started collaborating with people on YouTube, I used to get nervous because before I was a YouTuber, I would hear all these stories about people who would work together, similar to the way that I do with Layla and Campfire, and then they'd fall out, and then you just hear all these ugly things. So I used to kind of stay to myself, but I really, really am so happy that 5 years later, we're still in such a good place. Like Malen says, no jealousy, no nothing, just pure happiness for each other. Like, thank God for that. Thank God. Thank God. Gwen says, I'm pro therapy, but that monster needs partial hospitalization at the very least. And I can agree with that. And listen, apparently he was doing therapy before he even got like full-blown arrested, right? And God knows how long he was doing it for, right? So, despite the fact that he was in the therapy and whatnot, he was still engaging in this stuff. He knew that he was being investigated. He was still doing the freak offs and he was still taking rugs and whatnot. So is it enough for a judge to go, oh, he's trying? No, I don't think so, right? So I'm hoping he gets minimum like 5-10 years, right? 10 most likely, but unfortunately, I do not think he's going to get the maximum of 20, but I want him to get at least a good amount of time. Like, I don't want him to be down in the like 2-year kind of mark because he's already done about a year in prison. Then they usually let people with lesser sentences for good behavior, overcrowding and whatnot, which would mean that he wouldn't spend a substantial amount of time behind bars. So I'm hoping it's more so 5 to 10, 12 years or something like that. Hopefully more, right? Hopefully more. Acacia doesn't think that he's being authentic either, y'all. Listen, he's just so fake. He really is. Tadisha says, Diddy's not changing. He's just doing whatever to get time knocked off. Exactly. He has had 30 years 30 years to change. She's been doing this stuff for decades, you guys, my entire life. So at this point, I'm still so pissed that he wasn't even given a proper conviction of like the major stuff. I think that the prosecution did a pretty good job of knocking out some of these points, and so I'm really disappointed that he only got the lesser charges at the end of the day. Ronnie says, I think Diddy's trying to cover himself in honey to make himself look as sweet as possible. That is exactly it. And I love this. Is this an expression that they say over there in Kentucky? Because this is giving Southern, this expression. I really like it. And I think it's true. Sedona is watching us from Yale Law School. Shout out to you, Sedona. That is amazing. What type of law are you planning on specializing in? This is so cool. Hey, Jaleesa. Jaleesa says he needs a lobotomy. Listen, I agree. Just keep him off the streets for good. I cannot stand this demon, this creature. Like, still just hearing the stuff that he was doing and getting off on, it sends shivers, chills down your spine. Like, on what planet does anybody get excited by any of the stuff that this guy was into? Like, very, very scary stuff. And then on top of that, he subjected his children to hearing about all of this in court every single day, just so he could look like this doting father and whatnot. Like, that as well must have been incredibly traumatizing for the children, especially his twin daughters who were high schoolers, right? Going through all of this. Just woof. Absolute garbage. Let's get a palate cleanser in here, shall we? I want to talk to you guys about the Emmy nominations that came out. How do you guys feel about the Emmy nominations in general? I know that The Bear got some nominations, and I heard some other shows got nominations, but I don't really watch too many non-scripted shows, with the exception of like Squid Game or whatever. So I can't really speak too much to them. But in the televised performance sphere, there were some big nominations that came out for people that made me really excited, actually. So Kendrick Lamar, he had a really good year last year dissing Drake, and it ended with him having the ultimate mic drop opportunity to perform his Drake diss songs in addition to his other songs, right? At the Super Bowl. A record-breaking 133 million people tuned in for this show. And now we're finding out that he has scored an Emmy nomination for it. Not just one, but two, actually, right? And so he was nominated for Outstanding Music Direction and Outstanding Variety Special Live as well. Absolutely insane. Jay-Z is also nominated because Jay-Z, he produces the Super Bowl halftime show. He chose Kendrick Lamar for the Super Bowl halftime show, everything, right? Like, so that is just absolutely incredible for the two of them. Congratulations to Kendrick Lamar. Congratulations to Blues Dad. And just, wow. You know, I thought that his performance was really beautiful. There were many little cultural critiques and shows, featured within it. And Samuel L. Jackson did a fantastic job popping in there and really illustrating what Kendrick was trying to tell us beyond the music. And we saw Serena Williams in there, crip walking on her ex Drake's career's grave as well. So shout out to all of them. I do think that potentially Samuel L. Jackson could win that Emmy alongside Kendrick Lamar, and maybe even Serena. I don't know. Can Serena Williams get herself that Emmy as well? Like, if they take it, because they were like listed performers, right? That would be absolutely incredible. I'm rooting for them in this. Okay. And I really, really am. And somebody else got an Emmy nomination, Beyoncé as well, you guys, the Queen Bee. Listen, I'm still mad at the way they robbed her for the homecoming. Like, Beachella was so killer. And the fact that they didn't even win Best Camera Work for that. The Best Camera Work Emmy went to Carpool Karaoke, which is essentially a GoPro. Like 1 or 2 or 3 GoPros, you guys, one versus the meticulous, the insane camera work that went behind Homecoming, Beachella, right? And the choreography of Beachella, everything about Beachella was just stellar, right? And so she is always bringing up the level of everything that she does. And so she also clapped back with the Beyoncé Bowl, which was another fantastic event. I watched it. It was so good. I watched it a million times over, actually. So shout out to her for that. So she is currently nominated for Outstanding Variety Special Live Trophy. And that is actually the same category that Kendrick Lamar is up for. And she's also been nominated for Outstanding Production Design for a Variety Special and Outstanding Choreography for Variety or Reality Programming. I want her to sweep it, but if I could pick just one for her, it'll have to be two. Outstanding live performance and outstanding choreography would be the ones that I would give to her. So I'm rooting for the two of them. I love Kendrick just like I love Beyonce, but y'all know Beyonce is number one for me, right? So I want Beyonce to take everything, but I would be happy to see Kendrick Lamar walk away with an award as well. Listen, it's just so nice to see these talented people that you like doing well and receiving these accolades that they deserve, right? Malen says, I love Abbott Elementary. They got, you know what? I have to watch that. I have Abbott Elementary on my list of things to watch. I also have to watch Desperate Housewives. Believe it or not, y'all, I've never watched Desperate Housewives. So I'm really looking forward to watching that too. Tadisha's happy for Abbott Elementary as well. And I've been hearing Quinta Brunson hinting that is the final season of the show, FYI, or that the end is near, unfortunately. Malen says, I love Beyonce, but I hope Kendrick wins. Listen, don't forget, B is nominated for some different categories too. So like, for example, choreography, Kendrick's not nominated for that. So it'd be nice, like if the two of them got to win at least one award each. I want B to be an EGOT. So she's already got her, what is the EGOT? So she does not have the Emmys. She does have the Grammys. Does she have an Oscar? I think she at least has an Oscar for singing, right? And what about a Tony? I don't think she has the E or the T so far. So I would really, 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 truly love this for her. Gwen says, I so miss last year when the words Kendrick just dropped would ignite the internet, right? He was keeping us fed last year. He truly was. He truly, truly was. We've got Kendrick and SZA here in Paris. They started their first show yesterday and they have their second show here tonight as well. Unfortunately, I've already got plans, so I won't be able to go and see them. But yeah, shout out to them for being here as well. And we're gonna get into SZA's beef with Nicki Minaj that came out of nowhere, essentially, right? So, Latasha says Homecoming was amazing. The disrespect, right? It was crazy. Kate, hey Kate. Kate says Zahn McLarno. What is that? Who is that? Oh, deserves an Emmy for Dark Winds. Ooh, Dark Wind sounds really good. I wonder what that even is. I don't know. Listen, I'm so out of the scripted television game. Ronnie is a Beehive stan. I love that. Queen Bee forever. Cowboy Carter isn't my favorite album. I haven't finished. Oh my God, are you serious? Latasha, that is one of the best albums of the year, of the decade. One of Beyonce's best albums ever. It's so good. It's so good. My heart is like racing right now. It is a work of art. It truly, truly is. But wasn't it so good, Beyonce Bowl? Oh my God, she is that girl. Like Bree says, Beyonce is that girl, but I'm happy to see Kendrick nominated as well. Love them both so bad. Same here. They have to both win. Please, 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 Emmy gods, let both of our faves win. Lisa says, Desperate Housewives is great. I've heard. I'm so looking forward to watching it. I really cannot wait. And right, I really do think that Cowboy Carter might be Beyonce's best album of all time. I listen to the album from front to back at least once a week, you guys. Like, it is so freaking good. Like, it is so deep. I love everything about that album. And you know what? I have to say, Latasha and everybody else who might not like it, I was a hater of it. Like, I remember when it came out, I was like, oh my God, like what? Like I finally, like I thought I would finally get to go to her concert and it's this album. It's not good. But then I gave it a couple of chances, a couple of spins, and now I am just hooked on it. It's just so impactful to me anyway. You guys, let's get into some things that are kind of impactful, but in the worst way possible. Nicki Minaj. Can I ask you guys, how do you feel about Nicki Minaj? Are you Nicki fans? Are you pulling up in the Sri Lanka? What? I used to be a Nicki Minaj, like not a stan, but a big Nicki Minaj fan back in the day when I was in high school. So she dropped when I was in like the 8th grade. And I loved seeing a woman in rap, and like a woman who was like girly, right? Because we did have women in rap, but they were very tomboyish, like in my era, right? Like the Missy Elliott era. And I like Missy, but she was very tomboyish. And I was so excited to see a girly girl and whatnot. And, so I loved her music. I loved I still know the lyrics to like half her songs, right? But just seeing what she's become lately, like, has made me so sad. Who she's married and who she has defended, right? So she's married to Kenneth. And I forgot his last name, but her husband, like, he has a very big rap sheet. He's been arrested, like, he's got like 12 mugshots, you guys, various charges, including red rum, violent charges, sexual charges, child charges, you know, that put him on the ex-offender registry and everything. Like, Nicki Minaj is so talented. Nicki Minaj is so beautiful. Like, her face card is sickening. Like, that is a truly beautiful woman. So to see her end up with this has just been really disturbing to me, to say the least. And then to see her defend this and to procreate with this, and then to defend her brother. And I remember that her creepy brother was doing to that little girl. Like, she fell out of favor with me, right? I don't support her anymore after all of this stuff, right? But then now, on top of just like supporting terrible men, she's also gone on to just attacking women left and right in the industry. When she first came out, it was just her versus Lil Kim, right? Who bit whose style, blah, blah. And it got kind of passed off as if Lil Kim was just bitter. But I haven't heard Lil Kim beefing with any other women in rap. But I swear every other day, Nicki Minaj is beefing with a different woman in the rap game, right? Or even in Hollywood in general. And it is so tired. So let's get into some of what she was, you know, chirping about last night. Okay, so Nicki, she was having some kind of Twitter meltdown. I don't know what about, you guys, honestly. Like, it's always something. Apparently, she was calling out TDE Punch, who used to be SZA's manager, and she interpreted a text that SZA had posted after getting off the stage at her concert as a subtweet against her. So SZA had posted, "Mercury retrograde, don't take the bait, LOL, silly goose." And then Nicki Minaj quoted the tweet and said, "Go draw your freckles back on, Buki. Hashtag justice for Demore. Hashtag deposition Perez. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Sounding like an effing dead dog." And then she just kept on going and going and going. And it just got worse and worse and worse. Okay. So she also said, like, do you know the level of hate for yourself you had to have to be this much of a see you next Tuesday for no reason to the women you later worked with? Now want to act like you're an MFing tarot card? BITCH quit. What an odd little weirdo. So this is in reference to some old tweets of SZA's where she would criticize the singing ability of Rihanna, Ciara, etc. Right? And somebody dug it up for Nicki, and Nicki just went in on SZA with it. Right? She goes, biatch, laughing, right? Girl, hit that auto-tune button, Miss Meek and mild freckles. And she just, it's always a one-sided beef with Nicki. Like, she was very similar with Meg. Meg, you know, she clapped back in the booth and kept it moving. But then you kept having Nicki Minaj like ranting to herself about like bullet fragments, you know, this, that, and the other. And it's just weird. It's too much. And for her to be calling any other woman in the industry hateful or bitter or whatever is absolutely insane, considering all she does is attack the other women, right? Publicly on Twitter all day, every day. She also says B used to be on Twitter dissing Rihanna, Ciara, etc. But when it was time to suck DICK and get opportunities from them, she drew them freckles on and got to sucking, right? Allegedly. Like, biatch, stop being jealous of women who you seriously would kill to be up their booty holes. These men putting batteries in y'all backs, and y'all stupid enough to still keep it going, not peeping that it's not going to end well for them or you. Buzz off, Bumbleina. Like, she just kept going on and on. SZA had one tweet, you guys, and then she did follow it up with another tweet like, sis, I wasn't even talking to you, like, leave me out of it, essentially. But Nicki just kept on going and go, look at this, you guys, it's too long. Do I even want to read this thing? I don't think so, right? Like, just, it goes on and on with this woman. And I'm wondering, like, what's been triggering it? Like, she wasn't like this before. Like, she seemed to be a very happy person before. You know, I don't know. Like, to me, it kind of seems like ever since she got married to that man and, you know, she got clowned so hard for even looking twice at him, let alone marrying him, let alone having a kid with him, she's just been incredibly bitter and blaming it on other things, right? So even before she started dragging SZA, she was dragging Jay-Z for a very long time, low-key dragging Beyoncé as well at the same time. Like, it's always something with her, right? And this was just days before this. So she called SZA fat, chubby, and skinny at the same time, right? And she just kept going on these fake freckles and whatnot. But what does SZA's weight have to do with anything? What does SZA's fake freckles have to, like, what are we fighting about, right? Like, you know, Nicki was supposed to be this A-list rapper. Like, she was just supposed to be like, higher than what she is now. I don't understand it. Why is she going down this road, this direction? Where's all this anger and hostility coming from? How is she supposed to have longevity in the industry if she is falling out with everybody, right? So she's falling out with Beyonce, she's falling out with Jay-Z, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, now it's SZA as well. She's falling out with so many people, and it's typically women, by the way, right? So what's going to happen moving forward for Nicki and her career? I'm very, very curious, right? Like, she was a star, like the first really big female rapper out there. Like, she could have had so many incredible businesses and whatnot, and just this is the direction that she's decided to go down. And I find this to be very, very sad, honestly. But I digress. Let me pop into the comment section or the live chat and see what y'all have to say, okay? So we've got Ronnie, who says, I am not a Nicki fan because she has no respect for herself. I can't stand behind her. And I agree, and I used to love her and all of her music so much, but she's just left a really bad taste in my mouth lately. Len says, no, she's a miserable person. Remember, she was paying for her PP brother's lawyer bill. Exactly. Like, that's when she lost me officially. I accidentally saw like a little bit of what her brother was convicted of doing. And wow, that stuff was disturbing. Good morning, Gala. Nice to see you, boo. Valerie says, Nicki, you have kids. What kind of example are you setting for your kids? Exactly. But here's the thing. She's got kids with somebody with 12 mugshots. She's got kids with somebody who's on the ex-offender registry. She's got kids with somebody who's been accused of like red rum. Like, even just choosing that person to be the father of your children is already setting a terrible example, right? And that's like the sad part too. I don't get it. She's rich. She's beautiful. She had it all going for her. Why? Diddy just says, I'm an R&B girly, so I don't care for rap in general. However, Nicki is going out sad. Real sad. I just never, ever, ever would have imagined this for her at all. Valerie says, she's like, family is family, well, wrong is wrong. Exactly. Listen, I would not support, I have two brothers. I would not support them at all if they, God forbid, were getting involved in this sort of thing. Absolutely freaking not. Like, hell no. Good morning, Melissa. Nice to see you. Len says, SZA stays out of drama. People are dragging Nicki on her own Insta. And you know what? That's what she needs. She needs for people to clap back. She needs for people to drag her because she gets away with this for far too long. It's too much. Bree says, Nicki owned the 2010s and she was so fun, but her insecurities seem to have her loudly hating other women. That plus her husband and company she keeps is almost Kanye level legacy ruining, period. And I'm wondering, why is she so insecure? To me, and this is how I always feel about, you know what? Because talking about this, like, why is she insecure? I think she's so beautiful, but it's reminding me, I forgot to watch The Valley last night. I got to watch that to recap that for y'all tomorrow. Sorry about that. Especially you, East Awesome. I know East Awesome's going to get on me. But yeah, like, it's always the people that you think are like the most beautiful, the most successful, like that have it made, that are the most insecure, right? Because Nicki, she's very clearly insecure, but from the outside looking in, like, she had the world at her fingertips, right? Same with Jason from The Valley, like my boo. Like, I think he's so gorgeous. He's got like this great career. He's got this seemingly great everything, right? But he's so insecure, and it's so sad. Kikar says, with Nicki, you really have to separate the art from the artist. Exactly. But it's so hard. It's so hard. And I keep trying to tell myself, but it's so hard when people are just so bad. Gwen says, Nicki talks a lot of ish for someone married to, period. It's such an easy drag. Like, if I were her and I married that, I would delete all of my social media, you guys. You would not catch me because it would be just too easy for people to clap back at me, right? Like, that's crazy. She is just way too bold with everything that she's got going on, like, in her personal life, right? And her brother too, like, damn, but like, jeez. A-Star, I've been over Nicki for a while now. I hate to say it. Same here. And I really, really hate it because I liked her. I liked Nicki. I loved her music. I was so excited when she came out. Trin says, hey, Trin. Good morning. Nice to see you, boo. Ray says she can't be that different from her husband or her brother. She's so supportive. Just the unfortunate truth. And you know what? I completely agree with you, unfortunately. And this is what I was saying too on Campire's channel. It's kind of like Candy, right? Phaedra made those allegations against Candy. She had Portia run them on the show and everything. And then Candy denied it. However, who's her best friend? Tiny. What are the rumors about T.I. and Tiny? That they do that stuff, the freak off stuff, right? They've been sued for allegedly doing freak off activities with unwilling participants. And then what was she liking on Instagram? She was celebrating that Diddy was found not guilty of trafficking and whatnot. So it's like, oh, you support this stuff, or people who will allegedly engage in this stuff. what are you really up to? And we know you're freaked out. What are you really up to? Just saying, right? And it's too much. She's gonna run out of collaborators. And you know what? I don't even know. Does Kanye even have any friends anymore, Raven? I have no freaking clue. I heard that he's been trying to like rent out or try to get bookings here in Europe for like stadiums and whatnot, but it's not working. I also heard that Australia has completely banned him as well. This is another person who's completely ruined their legacy, right? Mrs. Y says, SZA thicker than a Snickers bar. I love her whole thing, and she isn't worried about Nicki's stupid, rugged up self. Exactly. You know, SZA seems like, listen, I do think SZA's a pathological liar. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Pun intended. I think she's strange. Like, mentally speaking, I think she's off, right? With all the strange lies. Her and Jamila, they kind of creep me out that way. However, I don't really see her beefing with people. Like, she seems to mind her own business outside of like her lies and whatnot. And that's all I care about, that she doesn't hurt people. She just sings her music and lives her best life. That's it, right? So Nicki just being the dark cloud that she is just so disappointing. And I'm happy that SZA only gave it a tweet or two and let Nicki, write these full-blown essays to herself. Look at all this, you guys. This is somebody that's supposed to be rich, happy with her creepy husband, criminal husband, and with her child and everything. And this is what she's spending all day, every day doing. And she was doing this to Jay-Z and Beyonce just this past weekend, y'all. Like, that's all she does. Like, it's so weird. Nicki, please get help, girl. Like, we're begging at this point. Anyway, listen, I've been yapping a little bit too much, y'all. So I do need to take a little water break. But when we come back, we're going to immediately get into the Jenelle Evans story. So she got onto her TikTok to kind of, drag her former Teen Mom co-stars, including Amber Portwood, Catelynn Lowell, and Tyler Baltera. Then after that story, we are also going to get into Lupita Nyong'o and her painful journey with uterine fibroids and all of the advocacy that she is doing to raise awareness and funding for research. And then finally, we're going to close out with the tragic drowning of 3-year-old Trig and how his father is being potentially listed as somebody who would be charged in the child's drowning, you guys. Okay. So if you're enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoy my content. And I'll catch you on the flip side, you guys. The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Tired of learning languages in boring, frustrating ways? Try TalkPal. TalkPal is your personal AI language tutor. It teaches you languages in fun, engaging ways. It gives you real-time feedback, assesses your pronunciation, and the learning process is personalized just for you. Join millions of other learners and start your language learning journey today. All right, y'all, let's get into the Jenelle Evans story, shall we? So Jenelle Evans, she is on TikTok, and some people were asking her thoughts about her former Teen Mom co-stars, including Amber Portwood, Catelynn Lowell, and Tyler Baltera. And listen, one thing about Jenelle is she doesn't mind talking about other people, right? And so she decided to go ahead and share her opinions. Take a look at what she had to say. Leave your comments in the live chat, or if you're part of my playback posse, make sure to leave them in the comment section, and I will be getting to you, okay? Here goes, you guys.
What's my thought on Amber and her crazy lives? Honestly, like, I was even going to comment earlier about it, but it's just delusional. That's all. That's all I got to say. He shouldn't get anything. Oh, I agree. But, we don't, everything's just kind of up in the air right now. We haven't been in front of a judge. We haven't, we have to have mediation to divide assets. So we got to do that first, and we'll see. Does my daughter talk to your guy's daughter? No. Not, well, here and there, but, they don't talk every day. The last time they talked was maybe, 4 weeks ago. Amber stated she made it $13 million. Well, what's she gonna do when the show ends? Riddle me that. Because right now, she's chilling on a couch, collecting those checks and saving that money. She better save it for as long as she can. Because eventually run out if the show's over. what I don't get is like, I know right now possibly my kids could be watching my live, so I'm not going to sit here and like be manic or act crazy or get drunk and go live late at night till 3 in the morning. But I was thinking last night, I'm like, dude, Leah's probably watching her lives right now. And like, oh gosh, live again, you know, it's like, Leah probably has her friends texting her like, oh, your mom's live again, like, just annoying as shit. Just like, I don't know. My videos, my content has changed a lot because of my kids being older now and being able to access that content, and, you know, I'm highly aware of that. Do I ever talk to Aaliyah, Chelsea, Kayla? Never talked to Kayla before. Don't talk to Chelsea. And Aaliyah? You mean Leah's daughter? I don't talk to her. I have nothing against her, but I don't talk to her. She's a minor, like...
There you go. Those are some musings from a disgraced former teen mom star, Jenelle Evans. Guys, I got the third light to work. Look at the difference. Holy cow. So yeah, a shout out to the teen mom Reddit community for those videos. By the way, that first video, I'm going to play the second video afterwards, but it's kind of interesting how level-headed Jenelle seems in that TikTok, right? Like she's saying, you know, I'm adjusting my content as I'm getting older, but here's the thing. It's not true. Like Jenelle, she's the one making OnlyFans content, right? Still. And so I don't know which is worse between the two of them. Like Amber and her sort of manic rants constantly on TikTok with all these random people and whatnot, or her singing on TikTok, or Jenelle and what she's doing on her OnlyFans and like the other stuff that she's, you know, she's still getting all of her drama still, right? Like we saw her recently beefing with David's girlfriend through TikTok and through Twitter. So it feels like in her head, she thinks that she has grown and evolved and she's not doing things to embarrass her children. However, in actuality, she kind of still is, as far as I'm aware anyway. By the way, good morning to those of you just tuning in. We've got BR, we've got Alma, we've got many more. We've got Cleo here as well. Shout out to all of you who are just joining us. We go live every single weekday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with the morning report. So I'm really happy to see y'all. Cleo says, I like how Jenelle yaps about everyone else and shares articles about them, but gets mad when others talk about her. Exactly. Listen, don't wake up Amber, Jenelle. As soon as you wake up at Kung Fu Portwood and she starts coming for you, threatening to mutilate you, I don't want you coming back and playing victim and crying about it because you're the one who set this off. But I would secretly love it, though. I do want to see Kung Fu Portwood clap back against this. And then I want to see Jenelle come back, play victim, and then drag her some more. Like, it's battle of the deadbeat moms. Who's going to win? I don't know, but I'm tuning in, that's for sure. Gwen says, sigh, delusional, projecting again. You know, what else? You know, if Janelle's not projecting, then she's not talking, essentially, right? Claire says, and Jace doesn't watch yours. I mean, she's not wrong, but and remember, this is the same woman who just last year was talking crap about her own son, who was a victim of her husband. She was telling everybody that her son was crazy, that her family needed to be protected from her son, when meanwhile, her husband was strangling her son. Like, you know, really, like, you want to compare what you do on social media to what Amber's doing? Like, what Amber's doing is terrible, right? And Amber does drag her own daughter, but she's only done it like twice. But Jenelle, like, you led a literal hate campaign against your child after he got snatched up by your husband. That was one of the most insane things I've ever seen on social media, right? Like, and she was going on for days about this child. Like, it was freaking bad, y'all. Acacia says, Jenelle knows all about the money running out, pot and kettle, period, especially once that settlement happens. David is going for broke with you. Listen, he is going to fight for her money like his life depends on it. And it quite literally does, because the man has no interest in working, right? I still can't believe she married him. Alma says, Jenelle is known to, exactly, right? Like, so freaking delusional. Gwen says, that's pretty wild to say when her 11-year-old is vaping and having a zillion issues, her poor kids. And that's the thing. Her son is crying out for help on social media. Meanwhile, she's here posting about her vacations and posting about how she's collaborating on OnlyFans with her friend Tori. Like, the call is coming from inside the house, Jenelle. Ronnie says, oh, don't get your feelings hurt because people talking about you when you can. Exactly. So it doesn't look like you guys are here for Jenelle at all. It really doesn't. And, you know, I'm not surprised. Bree says, I wish young people would leave their face alone. Jenelle looks like she looks good for her mid-40s. You know what it is? It's a filter. And the filter kept on like glitching like for her like mid-face and everything. So I think it had to do with that. And all the smoking. Like she's been a heavy smoker since she was a teenager, y'all. So that does not help at all. Hey, Goose, man, I'm super late. YouTube notifications suck. Well, you know what? We're happy you're here nonetheless, Goose, and you're just in time for the Jenelle story. Paprika says, oh, Paprika's got a new photo. I like it. I don't know. Isn't OnlyFans just for adults? I think Amber's content is out there for the kids to see, but they can see Janelle's. Yeah, they can, because you know what a lot of people do? A lot of Janelle's hatters, they sign up for, or some of them, they sign up for the OnlyFans so that they could take screenshots and share it. So that's what they do. They take screenshots, they create these memes, they like clip them and whatnot. So it's all out there. And yeah, you know, even without like intending to stumble upon that sort of content of Jenelle, it's very easy to stumble upon it. Mrs. Y says she doesn't know who Leah Messer is. Also, Lord, please don't let me be agreeing with Jenelle today. I think she's confused about the Aaliyah thing. She's like, Aaliyah, why would I be talking to Aaliyah's daughter? She's a child, sort of a thing. Alma says, I still remember the episode where she pulled out a whip and oh yeah, don't forget about that. Yes, the road rage. It was a full-blown GUN. Oh God, that woman is so insane. And the fact that she thinks she's perfectly normal, it makes you wonder a bit more about what exactly like she grew up with, right? And that's a book I'm reading with my channel members right now. I do have to catch up with you guys on that book. But yeah, like she thinks she's perfectly normal. And it's like, okay, what was going on with your parents? You thought this was normal, right? Ray says, does Jenelle actually have fans outside of dudes on OnlyFans? Genuinely curious. I think there are a couple of deadbeats who like relate to her and hype her up, but overall, not really. I have like a Facebook account. And so whenever I see her posting, like, you'll see like a list of how many comments there are. That they'll be like, oh, there's 100 comments, but then you'll only actually see like 5 of them or something like that, because she deletes so many comments of people calling her out, and then she'll block them and whatnot. So I don't think she's got many fans at all. Gwen says that old clip of Kiser yelling "feed me" when they were getting ready to prepare for that engagement shoot. Like those kids, honestly, I just know they're counting down the days until they hit 18. I know I'd be. Paprika says, I had no idea OnlyFans content was out there. Yeah. It's out there. People make memes out of it and stuff. Like you see it on like Twitter, you see it on Reddit, you see it on maybe even TikTok sometimes, you know, like it's some bad stuff. That's why you got to really think long and hard when you do this stuff, you know, not to talk down on ex work or whatever, but like, you know, when you've got children and whatnot, and these, you know, just try to protect your identity as much as possible, because I imagine that this is very traumatic for Janelle's children. Now, outside of the topic of Amber or Kung Fu Portwood, Jenelle also talked about Catelynn and Tyler. So take a look at what it is that she had to say about Catelynn and Tyler's texting scandal. So just as a refresher, Kate and Ty had a really big scandal recently where they were caught exchanging messages with minors. And in these messages, they were trying to see if Carly was safe and okay. So I think that they believe that Brandon and Teresa, Carly's adoptive parents, are in some sort of cult, and that Carly is unhappy and she wants to escape. And they thought that they were getting access to a secret phone of Carly's, and all of this was this big secret thing. And they were trying to convince the kids to keep it a secret. Like, it was bad, y'all. Okay. So take a look at what Jenelle has to say about all of that.
They think you're Catelynn who talks to minors. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to read that out loud. No, I've heard about that situation too. That's crazy. I would have never done that. Unless I'm saying stop talking to my kid because I don't like the way you're talking to him. But that's the only reason I would ever reach out to a minor or grab my kid's phone to text back or anything like that. But like getting information, what? I don't know. It's just overstepping boundaries in many different ways.
You know, to me, it's just more obvious than ever that the show is in danger and it's not being filmed, and that like it could very well be canceled for good. Because you see the way that everybody is talking about each other so openly. Like there's no more like, oh, I don't like that person, but I'm going to still like, you know, be careful with the way I speak because we're colleagues at the end of, like, it's very much like, I am going in on this person 100%. I don't care, right? So you've seen that with Ashley versus Amber. You're seeing that with Jenelle versus Amber, and then again versus Catelynn and Tyler and everything. Like, you know, different other people in the Teen Mom universe as well. Like that show, you guys, like, it's on pause, and it might be an indefinite pause as well. Gwen says, is she still living in Vegas? Authorities won't necessarily force a runaway teenager back into a bad home situation. Yes, she still is living in Vegas, and it looks like she actually wants to full-blown settle down there. Can I ask you guys, if you had to choose between North Carolina and Vegas, like where would you settle down? I've been to both of them, and I would choose North Carolina, I think. I'm actually quite surprised. Well, actually not really, that she wants to settle down in Vegas, because Vegas seems nice and everything, but like just the desert climate and whatnot is just so fascinating to me. I don't know if I could do it, to be honest with you guys. Hey, struggle is real. Nice to see you, boo. Ray says, was that proven to be fact that who they were texting? Yes. So good question. They did admit that they were texting to who they thought were children, but like the messages are still continuously being like slowly dripped out that I completely even lost track of where we wound up with that. But as far as I'm aware, I do believe that it was all confirmed that this person was underage as well. And that Tyler said that he knew he was texting with somebody who was underage. Like the whole thing is so weird, you guys. Really, really weird. Good morning, Farah. Nice to see you. Are you back home from your vacay in Hawaii? Farah was celebrating her birthday on vacation with her children. Were you telling me about this? It couldn't have been this week. You were telling me about this last week then, because I wasn't here Monday. But yeah, I hope you had a great vacation and you're nice and well rested and whatnot. Acacia says, not Jenelle being the voice of reason, right? Right? Like it's scary when Jenelle freaking Evans is the voice of reason in this situation. Like terrifying stuff, especially involving parenthood, right? And adulthood. Clear says, sorry, I didn't mean to read that laughs. But again, I don't agree with Kate and Tyler. She's not wrong, but exactly. She wanted to be messy. And listen, I cannot blame her. Listen, sometimes you just want to be messy. What can you do? You can't fight against it, right? When that urge comes to be messy. Crystal says, Jenelle has done worse. Exactly. And to her own children. So please. She chose David over her kids. When CPS said, your kids have been through a lot, right? We want to investigate to make sure they're safe. We don't want them to go through any more by splitting them up. Why don't you stay in this house with these children? We'll remove David. She said, no, F these kids. I'm staying with David. Go split them up. Send them to freaking Timbuktu for all I care. Like that's the woman who's over here sitting and, advising people on TikTok. Just FYI, right? Struggle says that she would prefer to live in North Carolina, right? BR as well. Same. I would prefer to live in North Carolina. Give me that sweet tea on a porch, y'all. Raven says multiple Teen Mom cast members said it was canceled. Exactly. That show is gone. Womp, womp, womp. All good things must come to an end. It's so sad, though, because in the heyday of that show, it was popping, right? Clear says, I used to live in Las Vegas till I was 14, and I loved it. But I live in Missouri now and prefer it, but I'll always have a soft spot for it. What's Missouri like? Missouri sounds cool. It sounds hip. Like you need to like know somebody to get in. BR says, and I think at least one person was confirmed a minor. Exactly. The whole situation was incredibly, incredibly weird. And then they dropped like this 2 or 3 hour podcast with somebody from TikTok to explain it. But by that point, people had moved on because it had been dragged for so long at that point. Quinn says, Vegas, more rights, no hurricanes. I'd probably, really, you have more rights in Nevada than North Carolina? Oh, damn. I probably spend all of the daylight hours in the basement, though. The heat is not my friend. I hear you, boo. I hear you. No, I didn't know they had hurricanes in North Carolina, too. I'm learning so much. U.S. geography is so fascinating, right? Because it's just such a massive country, and it's almost like every state or area is just, it's its own little planet, right? I'm glad you made it back safe, back to reality, Farah. So lovely. It was really cool being able to follow along for your adventures in Hawaii. Ray says, I feel for them because losing your kid because you're young and uneducated and easily persuaded. And I'm sure they're desperate and heartbroken without their child, but to stoop that low is wild. I agree. I really, truly empathize with them, especially because we watched it play out and how they were kind of manipulated, right? But that was not cool what they did. The Crazy Dalmatian lady says MTV may not announce the cancellation of the show because they may still want the chance to pick it up. Exactly. I do think that is what is happening there, right? I give it a couple of years, maybe 2-3 years, and they'll pick it back up. Somebody else had mentioned this on one of my morning reports, maybe last week or the week before, that it would be kind of cool to do a spinoff when the kids are off to college and stuff, like something like that, see their college lives or whatever. So, maybe something like that. I don't know. I think Larissa's trying to say Missouri. Ronnie says, Missouri is beautiful. I'm here now driving to What is OKC? Lord, today. What is OKC? I feel like I should know this. They put this on the football jerseys, don't they? Those red football jerseys. What is OKC? Is that Oklahoma? I don't know, y'all. Abby says, I live in North Carolina towards the coast. Hated it when I didn't live near the coast. Oh, that is my dream. C'est mon rêve to live near water. You know, I can't swim, but I want to live near water like a mermaid. Claire says, Missouri is down in the country. I wouldn't exactly call it hit. Really? But to me personally, people are kinder and more welcoming. And listen, you can't ask for much more than that. And thank you, Ronnie. Oklahoma City. Listen, I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning. Ray says, I feel for them because of, oh yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, I definitely feel for them too, but I'm disappointed that they wound up this way. I think at this point, they need to, focus on the kids that they do have and, just wait, keep the door open for Carly. Carly knows them. Carly, knows she can go to them when she's ready. And that's all you can do, right? Instead of like trying to force it. Uh-oh, I'm scared. Look, Jaleesa says, Grace, you should do a rewatch of your own videos for T-Ball. Oh my God, that would be horrifying. I avoid my videos when they pop up on my like watch page just because I'm like, oh my God, like what was I thinking back then? Oh my God, no, I can't. Watching myself is so painful. Jaleesa, oh, you've activated my worst nightmare. I don't think I'd be able to do it, boo. Oh my God, that sounds terrifying. I'd rather like be locked in a haunted house on Friday the 13th in the cold without a jacket. I've got a news story for you guys about Lupita Nyong'o. She is sharing her own journey with fibroids, and I thought that it would be very apt to share it with you because the majority of us here at the Morning Report, we are women, right? And so uterine fibroids is something that affects a startling amount of women, especially Black women as well. And, seeing Lupita open up about it has been really, really just, incredible. So Lupita says that she underwent surgery in 2014 to remove 30 fibroids, you guys. And she says that she hopes her experience will resonate with anyone else who has ever felt dismissed, confused, or alone. And so she has since partnered with the Foundation for Women's Health and announced the Foundation for Women's Health X Lupita Nyong'o Uterine Fibroid Research Grant to fund less invasive treatments for the condition, which affects 15 million women in the US alone. Quote, when we reach puberty, we're taught that periods mean pain, right? Haven't we all heard that? We must reject the normalization of female pain. And when she said that, I said, you know what? I think you're right. Because I could think of a million times that I have talked about like how, men are so lucky. Unlike, us women, they don't really have pain and we're in pain every single month over one thing or another, And so now they hear that it's not normal. We're not supposed to be in pain. We're not supposed to be calling in sick to work or school or, sleeping on the bathroom tiles or, lying down with these hot water bottles because we're like, apparently that's not normal. Like, why didn't anybody tell us? Like, we've been living like this for so freaking long. Like, hell yeah, Lupita. So Lupita is calling for early education, better screening, robust prevention research, and non-invasive treatment options for uterine fibroids, you guys. Wow. She says, we deserve better. Silence serves no one. And so, yeah, she joined lawmakers on Capitol Hill to advocate for legislation supporting fibroid research. I said, hell yeah. I know some women in my life who have been touched by fibroids as well, hysterectomies, even in their 30s from this condition. And so to hear that there's a celebrity out there ready to put a face to the cause and ready to pound pavement and get some legislation going and to really help, with this condition and everything, I think that is absolutely incredible. So, shout out to you, Lupita, for what it is that you're doing over there. And I think it's going to be so helpful to so many women. Oh, I'm so sorry. Struggle is real. She dealt with fibroids as well. And it sounds absolutely brutal. It really, really does. 30, I can't imagine. Do you guys remember Cynthia Bailey from the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Like, she was getting all of the swelling and stuff from her fibroids. She had to get the surgery and everything. Like, this affects way too many people. So I really, really am happy that she's going to go hard in campaigning for this, right? She's a big star. And so, we need her. Jalissa says, Grace, did you see Sheena's magazine cover? No, I didn't. What is she doing? Is it to promote her book and how she exposed Brock's affair? Right. And what magazine, by the way? Ray says, oh, that's what's up. I hope they do end up sharing their stories. Same. She also says, oh, Ray, girl, you've got like a sticky keyboard. It keeps sending your messages twice. Mrs. Y says, OKC, Oklahoma City Thunder, NBA team. Okay, so that's what I've been envisioning here. I thought it was football. Thank you, Mrs. Y. Struggle Israel says her blood was linked to the oldest person, which was found in Africa, dating back over, I believe, 600,000 years. Yes. You guys, Lupita, she's Kenyan. And not only is she Kenyan, she's also from the same tribe as I am in Kenya, which is the Luo tribe. So we share a language, which is just so freaking. Listen, we're the OGs. You know, we're not new to this. We're true to this, you guys. Like, yeah, it's it was so cool to see all of that about her. I really like her. I feel like a kinship with her, probably because of a shared, you know, like cultural history or whatever. As he says, I get my period once every 6 months. My doctor doesn't care. I even had my entire lining come out in one piece multiple times. They don't care about us. Oh, I've heard about this, and the word for it sounds so painful. I am so sorry. That is so brutal. And you know, sometimes it's so hard to even be able to switch doctors because so many times there's not enough doctors for a given community, you know? And so even if your doctor is not listening to you, if your doctor is not competent or whatever, you know, being stuck in that situation when like obviously something is going on, like, oh, I'm praying for you. Are you in a place where you can get like a tele doctor or something like that? One of those online internet doctors? Because I do wonder if that is something that would be able to potentially help you a little bit more than the doctor that you have. Like at least there's that sort of innovation happening, right? Because, you know, again, there are medical deserts out there, but I do think if you could potentially, I don't know, every country, every place is different, but if you're able to get like an online doctor, a telehealth doctor, I wonder if that would be able to help you. I'm so sorry. Ferris says, that is amazing. My cousin had to have a hysterectomy at the age of 24 because she had fibroids the size of baseball. Oh my God. Listen, y'all, please. This is so sad. This is so hysterectomy at 24. Oof. Oh my God, you guys. What is going on? Like these things are really truly impacting women's health, women's lives, right? Like women's reproductive health and everything. And they don't care. They're not putting money towards it. It's kind of like, you know, deal with it, luck of the draw. And this affects an insane amount of women, like almost 50% in some communities, over 50% in other communities. I think they said even 70% in some communities, you guys. I think it was a Black community, Black women, where 70% of us are likely to get fibroids, y'all. I know they've been linking it to relaxers, this, that, and the other, but I don't know. I think it's like a host of things. Oh Lord, so sad, so freaking sad. Julissa, I'm gonna take a look at the magazine. You coming in here laughing? I know I'm gonna have a good time. I want to laugh too. Damn it. Gwen says it's okay to shop around for a good doctor, ladies. I finally found a good one, and it makes all the difference. Amen to that. Amen. You know, hopefully you guys are in areas where you're able to, because I know like in smaller towns, it's really difficult. Here in France, there's a lot of medical deserts, actually, like a lot. You'd be actually really surprised. Goose says, not in Paris, obviously. Here, maybe there's even too many doctors, too many dentists, maybe, but outside of Paris, it gets hot. You know, ça devient chaud. It becomes complicated, sticky. Goose says, I was so sad when my OB retired. He was the best. And oh my God, I feel like it's harder even, right, for these kinds of doctors, like these intimate doctors, you know, like if you're my general, whatever, but if you're like my gynecologist, like, oh, I got to screen you. I'm not letting just anybody near this coochie of mine. Like, you know, it's hard. It's really, really freaking difficult, you know, but, you know, thank God for people like Lupita Nyong'o who are doing their very best to raise awareness and to stop normalizing period pain and pain for women in general. Thank God, Lupita. Thank you for all you're doing out there. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this progresses. Now, you guys, I do have a final story. And like I warned you at the beginning of the morning report, this story, and I agree, Deshauna, 1,000%. 1,000%. Healthcare for women needs to change. It's crazy what we have to deal with. I agree. 1,000%. 1,000%. Farah, is the healthcare better in France? Paris, honestly, it really depends. I'm happy with that, what I'm getting as far as healthcare, but honestly, I don't know. You know what I'll tell you though? Dental care here is weird. Like I was so used to going to the dentist in Canada. If you go to the dentist like in the middle of the afternoon, you call in sick, right? Or you just call it a day, right? Because like it takes hours. You know, you got the hygienist, or you got the no. Here it's like a 20-minute appointment. Like so, dental care here is weird. I don't like it. Like it doesn't feel good enough. But as far as the doctor and stuff, yeah, it's pretty good, honestly. I love how you have like this website. We have a website called Doctolib. And so you just go, you search, whatever kind of doctor you're looking for. And it's like kind of like a Facebook of doctors type of thing. And you book your little appointment, you're on your way. Like, it's very easy, I feel like. Tadisha says the term thank you is decidual cast when your lining comes out in one piece. It sounds so painful. Absolutely painful. You guys, let's get into this final story. Again, I'm so sorry to end on a sad note, but this was a story that has been quite disturbing to me. I don't know if you guys are aware of this family, but there's an influencer family here that suffered a very, very, very big tragedy. So it's Emilie Kiser and her husband Brady. Their son Trig, who is only 3 years old, drowned in their backyard. And now Chandler police are telling TMZ that they have completed their investigation into Trig's passing. And apparently, after following a thorough review of the evidence, they have recommended a Class 4 felony charge of child abuse against Brady, and the case has been submitted to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office for review. It doesn't mean automatically that Brady will be facing any kinds of charges, but it's just that they are recommending that he face charges. And so neither of them have publicly spoken out about the passing of their son. But I think that a lot of people do feel like this is the best course of action, or that it is necessary, because they never fenced their pool in their backyard. And a lot of people on social media had been telling them to fence the pool. I think it's illegal to not have your pool fenced when you've got children in your home. And from what I'm understanding, they did not want to because they didn't like the aesthetic of a fenced pool or something like that. And, the father was allegedly distracted by something inside of the house when Trig wandered out to the backyard and eventually drowned. Honestly, the whole story is so sad. I can't imagine suffering such a big tragedy and then later getting charged as well. But at the same time, if that is the law, that your pool must be fenced, and you decided not to follow the law for, aesthetic reasons, then I don't know. I really do not know how to feel about it, you guys. Like, the whole story is just so freaking sad. It really is. I feel for them, and obviously for their son as well. At the end of the day, it's just such a senseless passing. There really should have been a fence, and the father really should have been paying, closer attention to his son as well. Very sad. Very, very, very sad, you guys. Yeah, I know. It's a really, really tragic story. I've been seeing it all over my Reddit, not my For You page is TikTok, my Reddit homepage for a really long time, ever since it happened in May. Goose says dental should be a part of healthcare. Your teeth can affect your entire body. Yep. Bad teeth can even kill you. Yep. And it's linked to your heart too. Like, if you're not taking proper care of your teeth, it's going to show up in your heart. You're going to start developing heart problems. Floss, people, floss. Struggle is real. Yeah, it's absolutely horrible. It really, really is. Alma, this is really sad. May he rest in peace. Exactly. Really, really hope that the family is able to make it through this. This is just such a devastating situation. Farrah says, this is so sad, but not fencing the pool because you don't like the way it looks is crazy, right? Apparently, they were like deleting and blocking people who kept on telling them, fence that freaking pool, fence your freaking pool, right? And so this is why a lot of people online, if you see like the discourse about it, a lot of people really do want for them to be charged, especially the father, because in this case, he's the one who was in the home, supposed to be watching over the child when he eventually drowned. Gwen says, I'd rather have the ugliest house on the planet than ignore safety issues, heartbreaking stuff. And I agree with that. I really do. But at the end of the day, the situation, I'm sure they just feel like absolute garbage over it. It's such a terrible situation. Alma says, I would definitely fence my pool. I have a 4-year-old and I'm terrified of anything happening to him. Amen. I would feel the same way. Honestly, if I were to have kids, I would be the biggest bubble wrap parent on the planet. I am always like on pins and needles, anxious about something, So just the fact that this was not even like really a given for them is a little bit crazy, but I digress. Rest in peace, Trig. This is such a senseless tragedy. There really should have been a fence around that pool, but I don't know. Do you guys think that that the district attorney will pick up the case and end up charging the father? I don't know. It won't bring their son back. And I think it would only bring more trauma to the family and the other young child that they already have, who has already lost their sibling. Now they're going to lose their father. But at the same time, you know, if it is the law and you did not follow the law, it's sad, honestly. It's really, really, really sad. Tanisha says, shaking my head, it only takes seconds for kids to slip away out of sight. Exactly. You know, it's so devastating. It really is. James says the father was neglectful. They had enough financial income for baby proofing items or a babysitter for watchful eyes. I agree. I really do agree. CVP says, what a painful lesson for the parents and a final lesson for their baby boy. Fence your pools. I know. I really hate that his little life was cut short. 3 years old, you guys. 3 years old. There's no reason for a 3-year-old to be passing away. That's just still just, you know, such a brand new, you know, little angel on our earth. And he's already gone before he really gets the opportunity to live life at all. BR says, wait, I'm sorry, I just came back. Who are these people with a deceased child? Influencers? Yes, they're influencers. So this is the Kiser family. It's Emilie Kiser, her husband Brady, and then their 3-year-old son Trig passed away because they did not fence their pool. And Emilie had been out of the house, and the father was left with the 2 children, and he got distracted. And while he was distracted, Trig wandered into the backyard and drowned in the pool. Alma says if it's the law, they can be charged with negligence. I think so too. Farrah says they might charge them to make an example. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's it too. Like, I do think that maybe this is what they want to do. Send a strong message, you guys. Like, stop it with this, you know, living for social media, aesthetic this, aesthetic that. These are real children. You guys have a duty to your children. Protect your children. You know, live for your children, not, you know, for these random strangers on the internet. Crystal says, I literally just lost my 3-month-old baby nephew to SIDS, they say, but I think CPS didn't do a thorough investigation because they cremated him less than. Oh my God, Crystal. Wow. Whew. I'm so sorry to hear that. That is just shocking. That is haunting too. I just cannot imagine. You know, it feels like, you know, something deep down, your soul is trying to tell you something, but now with that, like, you know, rapid cremation, like, you know, will you ever get answers to that? Oh my God, that is so devastating. I'm sorry, Crystal. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Jeez. Gwen says, I don't see how charges would help. If anything, maybe parenting classes check in something. Hope their other child is okay. And you know what? That could be fair too, right? Maybe something, right? Some sort of consequence, but is jail the best consequence? I don't know. But it's kind of like Farrah said, maybe they might use them as an example to other people, right? Who are putting aesthetic ahead of safety. Mrs. H says, preventable, tragic, poor baby. There's no coming back from that. And that's the worst part. There's no coming back. His life had just begun and there's no coming back. It's already over. Like, how devastating is that? The dad should be punished. No 3-year-old needs a huge pool. The parents oblivious, got the pool for themselves first. It's also sad, you guys. It is. And thank you guys for all of the well wishes for Crystal and her family. So sorry, Crystal. This is all so freaking sad, you guys. I'm sorry to leave out on this note, you guys. I really am. Listen, let's try to get out there, have a good rest of our days, and, you know, get our minds off of this story and just wish for the best and hope and pray that Trig is resting in peace. It's so unfair. It really, really is so unfair. He should have been protected. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of The Morning Report. We go live every single weekday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about the day's hottest stories. So of course, you'll be catching me again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, okay? If you enjoyed today's episode, please do not hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will catch you again next time. Bye now.